Hi, it's Ned Coton here, CEO of EngageRM. Recently, we ran a workshop with a number of our AFL club clients to help them understand our ecosystem and to look at ways that they could use data and process more effectively within their businesses. If you're watching this video, it's likely that you are one of those clubs, that you're on our session, or you're one of our other clients and want to learn more about how to use EngageRM more effectively. We've cut down the video to a little under 5 minutes, and so hopefully in that time you can get a really good insight into how you can use data and process more effectively within your business. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to hearing your comments about how you enjoy it.
Next up, we have very focused on the Arctics integration, but it's not the only part of it. It's really kind of how to centralize consumer data, and then once you've actually centralized consumer data, how do you action that to be able to kind of deliver benefits and outcomes to the business. Neil McKinnon, who is the EngageRM CTO, who's been within our business for a couple of years now and got a rich history in kind of in both the technology and integration space, has been working very closely with Shane and Campbell.
Most people are aware about, Arctics and the critical nature of it across the AFL clubs, and you probably also realise it is quite a let's say a complex world, and it does take some time to really get it right. I come from a software product background, and one of the things that I'm a big believer of is that you can't build product in the abstract notion. That there are abstract needs. We need Arctics data. We need membership data. We need, attendance. Whatever the use cases are, you need those things. But what are you going to do with them? How are you going to use them? And that's where you need actual, real, physical, practical use cases. We've been on quite a journey for a while, so I don't think we need to, over dramatize it nor play it down. It has been a lot of work to get this point, but we are in a really good position now. Why are we doing this in the first place? What are the business reasons why you're doing this? And I thought I'd throw to Shane and Campbell to perhaps just give us some insights on, what are some of the business reasons why we wanted this? Why did you want membership data in there? What customer journeys did you want to drive with this?
For us, obviously predominantly the biggest one has been around email. So being able to have greater control over being able to automate the email process. Membership data is fundamentally the most important data set that we've got as a football club. So for us, we're very lucky that we've got a significant membership base. But for all the clubs, that's the strongest connection that you got with the fans is through those membership. It'll be the highest volume of contacts. Obviously, we've got our Superstore data, which is probably second to that. But our membership data is is the foundation of the club, our members. So getting that information into a format that we actually can start to do that, segment that, use that in format so that we can cross-check, reference that against other data sets so that we can use that for journeys and any sort of triggered or scheduled marketing journeys that we want to do.
We wanted to be able to implement an automated marketing solution, and we wanted to be able to do that where we speak to members and fans at an individual level, so not at a membership group level or not just memberships in totality. We wanted to speak to them on the basis of what impacts them, what's important to them. Do they want to hear from our partners? Do they not want to hear from our partners? Do they want to hear about our women's teams? Do they only want to hear about the men's team? So we want to speak to our members based on the information that they want to know about and we want to speak to them how they want to be spoken to in the places that they want to be spoken to. So the only way we can do that is by having all of this fan and member data and having it right down to the individual level.
It really is about the fans. Well, in CRM speak, contacts, you're trying to know everything about a particular person and the memberships they have.
We wanted to know who had a membership in 2020, 2021 and 2022 so that we could identify where those gaps were. So then from that, we could start to send campaigns out based on you had a membership in 2021, but you haven't renewed yet, and we're in the middle of February. So we can now start to target those specific groups and tell them how desperately we want them to come back and be part of the Collingwood Army again. Again, we go back to those who had a membership in 2020, but not in 2022. So they're a lapsed member. So that's a different campaign. It's a different conversation. It's about, well, we understand why you might not have renewed in 2021, but now it looks like football's back and back to normal. We desperately need you back in the stands. So we already know we want those different journeys and those different conversations, and we've specifically gone around trying to put those attributes in based on historical data that we could get out of Arctics, so that we can have those conversations around renewals. And we know there's other conversations that we want to have in the future about people who will come off junior memberships and need to go on to an adult membership. So we already know that in the future, we want to be able to identify those people and talk to them specifically about how important they are to us, so that when they drop off mum and dad's family membership, they don't drop off altogether. They just automatically renew into the appropriate adult membership because they feel like they're wanted.
Being able to trigger a lot of interactive journeys with our fans. We're kind of really right on the cusp of actually starting to really elevate, exponentially sort of push this out this season. From our expertise, the Dynamics or the Sports RM platform is so much better equipped to be able to deal with a proper, genuine relationship management tool.
Those future things, you just scratched the surface, you were saying there, Shane. Are there any, the big ones that, whether they're complex or something that the Holy Grail, are there particular things that you want to get to that, those really high value journeys?
We're really close on the integration that we've done with BigCommerce. So obviously we've been working with. It started originally with Brett So our consumer platform is BigCommerce, obviously, is the e-commerce site, and Vend is the point of sale platform that we use. I think quite a few of the clubs are now using Vans. We've deployed the SDK across our Superstore site. We'll start to trigger email and other in-app messaging and other different comms just based on visitor behaviours on site. So not just your traditional cart abandoned. Obviously, that's native within BigCommerce. I think all the clubs are doing your standard cart abandoned, but even product viewed, product reviewed, add to cart, all those actions are now live in our test environment. And so that's probably a big one so we can actually start to see real-time interaction and journeys based on interactions on our website. So we want to deploy that across all our touch points. And at the heart of that, and that's the way why we've integrated Sports RM, is that the customer relationship side of it, we see the CRM as a fundamental component where we keep all our transactional data for that. That's our particular view on it, where we cross membership information with our merchandise transactional information so that we get a true picture of that for the transactional side of things. So it just allows us a lot more flexibility having in that environment.
That bring it together as understand that one contact. And I know that we've obviously been dealing with some challenges of truly identifying one contact. There might be duplicates from over time. They have different membership numbers. But would you be seeing that that's now getting better? And that's probably, from everything you just said, probably one of the more important points to get right, is to really identify that one person.
The dynamic of members and just of fans in general, where they have multiple email addresses, they have multiple type of personas. So there's work Shane, and then there's home Shane. Yep. They have different profiles, they have different interactions, they have different devices, and making that call whether or not you're going to bring that in as one identity or even treating them as two separate identities, and then being able to think laterally enough the different permutations of having multiple email address, whether it's a work address, Gmail address, all those things you obviously just need to, for any club that wants to obviously start to get into that space of integrating across multiple data sets, needs to really laterally think about how we're going to think about the consumer and whether or not we want to deal with that as just one person. So we've gone down that path, and I think Campbell and I have had multiple conversations how we're going to deal with corporate Shane versus private Shane. So it's an important part, if you do go down that journey, is just understanding exactly what information you want to pull from your fans. So
we've got someone that I've been dealing with who has the same person but has one contact record for their membership and another one for their player sponsorship record, and that's the way they want it to be because we confirmed with them why they had multiple email addresses. So it's thinking, like Shane said, it's thinking about, well, potentially we need to have that person in there as two separate people, despite them being the same person, because that's how they want to be communicated with, as two separate reasons. So our lofty goals for the future. We want to do a lot of automated journeys. So we want to start to build out journeys within journeys. So and have those automated. So when you sign up as a member, you get the welcome email. No one needs to do anything to send you that welcome email. The automated marketing tool gets a message from CRM that says this new member has signed up, or this member has signed up, and you automatically get the welcome email. There might be a call to action in that email. If you don't click on it, then we can send you a reminder to do something. We want to start setting up those journeys because we know that this is the steps that people tend to take, and this is where they might drop off the communication chain, and we want to keep them engaged. So we want to set up those automated journeys. And we're starting to look at SMS as well now. So we've got the capability to do that. We're just looking at how we get the phone numbers in the right format. But we want to be able to do those automated journeys so that if you don't open the email, we'll send you a text message. So we want to be able to do those so that we can keep people engaged so that they can get from point A to point B, regardless of who they are or what platform they use. And we can start to do those, mapping out longer term journeys for people. And eventually putting that on a wholly segmented basis as well. So we've got a pool of fans at one end, but we know that, there's these 3 or 4 core groups that we need to talk to them on 3 or 4 different platforms. But then once they've got the first part of communication, then we need them to do the second, third, fourth part, so we get them all to the end point together. But they'll have gotten there in different versions because they're different people and they use technology differently. That's ultimately where we want to get to. But we can only get there if this base data is correct, because there's no point in enriching the base data if that's not correct.
What are you guys using, with regards to, the equivalence of big commerce, Vend, etc.? What are you doing and what benefits are you getting from that in the platform?
We want to then start to connect that with fans, so we can start to see which fans are buying what products and when are they buying those products, and then convert that into fans that have bought a jumper and a scarf are then more likely to buy the beanie. So then let's communicate to them about buying a beanie at the next game, or don't forget to get to our store. Here's a 10% discount. We can start to do those types of journeys and things like that. So we're talking to big commerce. We've just literally in the last couple of days been reviewing their sort of metadata files of what attributes they have there, so that we can work out which ones are important to us, so that we can store those as an attribute against a customer or a fan, so that we can then make sure we get all of the relevant details, not just that they bought a small Guernsey last week. We want to know a bit more about that purchase. So we've just sort of been through that, and so we're back and forth a bit with big commerce for that. But we want to do that across other things. We eventually want to be able to link that to data that already exists in SportsRM in respect of our events and our hospitality. So we want to understand if someone they might be a corporate partner or a contact of a corporate partner. And so they may go to corporate events, or they might individually buy presence tickets. We want to be able to match that data with that individual as well, so that we understand that this person is not just a member in their own right, but they're also more highly valued to us because they're linked to one of our corporate partners and they attend other events. We also have other events that we do which are targeted at members, so we want to know whether or not they take those up and then understand why they don't take those up. So we want to start connecting all that other sort of retail data with people as well, some of which comes from within SportsRM already, some of which will come from external.
I'll just make a comment just on that question around the integration. So we, as you know, Brett and I, we started that process when we started bringing in our Vend data last year. So that's coming in. So we've been able to cross-reference member, non-member information to transactions within our team store, superstore, sorry. And then recently, again, probably more supporting the importance of CRM. The ID, the unique ID that we use, is the fundamental marker that we share across our ecosystem. So that integration that we've done with BigCommerce, when you log into BigCommerce now, we'll turn this on in the next couple of weeks. We're just finalising it now. That creates a contact if it doesn't already exist in SportsRM, so that we've got a real clear understanding of transactions that are happening online. We've already created contacts, and they marry up automatically from the website directly into SportsRM. So that just allows us to close the loop on clearly understanding who's buying what and purchasing what. So, and that's been able to give us some pretty good information just from the retail data.
What are you sort of doing within the app space? And I guess maybe to preface that question, what can you kind of do within the app space to I guess further build out your data set, but as well as have a passport as such for for your members and for your prospects?
And once you can get it into the usable format, into the automation platform, that allows you to then send in-app messaging, push notifications. Obviously, Campbell and the guys are starting to rev up SMS, which sounds easy, but being able to do that at scale and personalised and automatic through triggered events, you just can't do that if you leave it in its original data set. So there's a bit of work to be done, but absolutely it's doable. And we've done that with our existing hospitality site. So that's integrated so that we can push in-app messaging within our hospitality site. It'll soon be available in the Superstore site. That's because we've got greater control over the back-end data layer or the administration over those digital assets.
Neil, just to finish off, just talking about the personalisation and getting down to that detailed level of who's who from the data. I actually had a conversation with Sean earlier today and have been talking a lot with our membership team, and we think we might have found another way to get that data at that personalised level. Well, hopefully we're on the cusp of breaking the back of getting that data consistently at the individual fan levels. Get really close to your membership team because they know Arctics really well. But hopefully, Neil, this will break the back of it and it'll really give us the detail we need.
Great insight there from all of you. So thank you to the three of you, but particularly Campbell and Shane, and as you know, kind of already Campbell demonstrating there the value that Sean's adding to the conversation as well, which is really fantastic to hear that you guys are working so well together. I'll speak on behalf of Neil, Shane, and Campbell that obviously I believe any of them would happily be able to share their kind of experience, thoughts, expertise, guidance on this matter with any of the clubs that wish to reach out and talk about that further.
Thanks, Shane and Campbell, both for the journey to get to this point. It's a big benefit for everyone, and we absolutely couldn't have done it without you. And I think we're going to have a really powerful solution going forward with what we've got from this. So thank you both, and thank you for sharing very openly with everything today. I'm sure everyone appreciates it. Thank you.